Absolutely. So how did this end? Just that you're an evil thought criminal, everybody giggled and laughed and said mercury was good for them?
No, but the crazy part about it was then a month prior to that, we had mysterious goo left on lawns. And that they did a story on that. And you can go to mystateline.com and search for mysterious goo left on lawn. And that was done on May 7th. And then you can also go to What's That Slimy Gel. The next day they did another piece. And that's May 8th.
All right, thank you.
We actually had...
Ma'am, go ahead.
We actually had gel.
That's what they had in Scotland. The Scottish newspapers are also, I showed you the photographs of this mysterious gel that's breaking all over the Highlands.
Yeah, we got a break here, ma'am. Thank you. Meanwhile, the media never looks at the Daily Oklahoman or hundreds of other papers when they admit, Homeland Security will spray every town in the state of Oklahoma, this was in 2006, with Subtilis globigii bacteria. Don't worry, it only causes spontaneous abortions in all mammal species. That's in the news, and they just go, I love it.
We're on the march. This is the shipping version of the Liberty unit. It's the basic unit that we work with. It consists of 14 cases and a pail of sprouting seeds and a sprouter. Extremely well balanced, and this is the one that we adjust for special dietary needs, like diabetics and people with gluten intolerances. Also, those who are concerned about not having any soy products or textured vegetable protein, this is the unit that we adjust for special needs. All of these one-year supplies are extremely well balanced. They have all the fruits and vegetables and dairy products, everything that you need for a normal diet, and it fits most people. But if you have special needs, if you're a vegan, or if you're a diabetic, or have gluten intolerances, please call us directly and we'll be able to adjust your unit to fit what you need. The 800 number is 800-810-4441. And that will get our administrative office, and we'll help you as best we can.
Steve in Chicago, you're on the air with Alan Watt.
Yes, Alex, you're always talking about gibbering, but you never talk about prattling and dribbling, and specifically double dribbling. And Watt, shame is on you. First of all, Watt, there's no such thing in the Scottish newspapers. I read the Scotsman regularly. You're talking to Glenn Wallace about that.
Hold on just a minute. Put Steve on hold. Steve always calls up. I recognize the caller, and sometimes says good things, sometimes says really strange things. Alan Watt, everything he's talked about today is on his website, cutthroughthematrix.com. Almost everything he discusses, I've read out of these globalist-owned books. Alan Watt is a great source of info. I demand, or I'm hanging up on you, Steve, you specifically call Alan out on what you're saying he's lying about or what is not in the Scottish newspapers. Come on. Tell me right now, Steve.
I'm talking specifically about the Scotsman newspaper, and I'm talking about his chemtrail article. But I've got a couple of interesting facts. You'd ask about James von Brunn. He's distant cousin of Count von Stauffenberg because the family's intermarried in the 1400s. And secondly, he's descended from German bishops, and the German bishops.
So you don't like us talking about Germans? We're not talking bad about Germans. I'm part German myself. We're talking about von Brunn being a federal plant. Now listen to me. Chemtrails are in the Wall Street Journal. They're all over the British news. They're telling you how they're going to terraform for your own safety to fix the global warming when the climatologists we talk to say it'll heat the earth up. Here's the Wall Street Journal. It's time to cool the planet. And they say with chemtrailing. So I'm saying to you, hey, you know what? Put him on hold. Alan, go ahead. I bet from memory you can even tell him the article or pull it up. Specifically, what were you saying out of the Scotsman?
Yeah, the Scottish, not just the Scotsman, it was all over the Scottish papers, this mysterious gel, they're calling it, found over highland areas. Then they brought in all the different characters and scientists in trying to explain it away as possibly.
In fact, let's do it right now. Let's say mysterious gel in Scotland. Yeah. Google that. Let's just hit him with the info and hit him hard right now. You're calling us out. I just showed you Cohen talking about weather weapons. I don't understand this. We're here trying to do a good job. They're all over the news admitting, all over England, headlines, plague bombs released over Scotland. Another headline, all of England sprayed with chemicals and biologicals in test. It's all in my film Endgame. I mean, we're telling the truth.
Well, you got to understand, though, Alex, there are people out there that are in their own little Plato's cave, and all they'll do is attack and smear. It doesn't matter how much proof you give them. It doesn't make any difference. They have their own little agendas, and you can't get into their headspace because it's their personal little private place.
Oh, there is the Jelly Mystery, BBC. Let's click on that. We don't make anything up here. You know, I don't understand, Alan, how we're at a higher standard than the New World Order always engaging in their activities. Why are we bad? Is it the psychology of kind of like crabs not wanting other crabs to get out of a bucket?
I think so. It's also that a lot of people out there want to live in utter denial because they just don't like you or what you're saying. It's as simple as that.
All right. Scott, we just Googled mysterious gel in Scotland. Our internet's so lightning slow that it's not even loading yet, but there it all is, all over the news about mysterious substance gel falling from the sky. So what do you say to that, Steve? We're still liars?
Certainly. He's James Bondage, MI6 control officer. Or he's either John Bullcrap, MI6 chaos agent. Because the story is that everybody knows that the stories from the BBC and the Daily Mirror never make it, or Daily Mail never make it in the Scottish newspapers because that's all propaganda.
We're done with you. We're done with you. We're done with you. You make up one lie, and you make up another. I just don't understand the mental illness, man. What? I didn't do anything to you, brother. You were talking about chemical and biological testing. Google this for everybody, guys, and print me that while you're at it. I want to show the viewers this. Because one of the big ones that got a lot of attention was Subtilis globally sprayed over Oklahoma. Subtilis globally, and another Subtilis, I can't remember the exact name, Daily Oklahoma, and it said every town was having fixed-wing aircraft spray it, and they said, it's not bad for you, though it does cause abortion. It does cause a miscarriage. Alan, go ahead, make your comment.
Yes, and this stuff has been tested before. Espanola in Ontario was the target. The U.S. planes were given permission to do it over that area. People in Espanola were having miscarriages. Even the animals, the deer, were having miscarriages. It went all the way to the Supreme Court of Canada, where it was admitted it was an experiment, but the Canadian government couldn't do anything because they themselves were not responsible. This is how they palmed it off on the U.S. And that was in the mainstream papers here. We're just guinea pigs for all of this.
Well, I don't know what to do for people anymore. They've all got their little niche group, and if you hear them, I just want to get people fighting New World Order. I want them to stop all the chemical, biological testing.
I've actually had people, you probably found this too, that have accused me of being a spy because I shouldn't know as much as I do. One guy actually wrote to me and he says, why were you in libraries when you were a child studying this stuff? So anything that's beyond themselves or outside of what they were up to, you must be a strange, weird, special character.
No, I know. I had Psychology Today asking me how I got into all this, and I said, well, I started reading a lot of history books when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. They're like, how strange, how weird, how... Yeah. And I was like, well, no, it was actually very entertaining. I was doing it for entertainment at the time. It was a lot better than Pulp Fiction or Louis L'Amour books I was reading. And they were just like, And then, if you're ever at I was at a Target buying some T-shirts a few weeks ago because I've lost some weight, so I had to get some smaller clothes. And I went over to the video section and got Downfall about Hitler, which I'd seen in the theaters, very, very accurate about him in the bunker. And the guy kind of freaked out at the checkout counter and was looking at me and had it and going, because he saw Hitler, it meant I was with Hitler. And I remember when I was a teenager, I bought Mein Kampf to read what Hitler had said, and the lady asked me if I was a white supremacist and was very upset. I said, why are you selling it, lady? No, I'm reading it for history. I read a book by Julius Caesar. I read books by Shakespeare. It doesn't mean I'm Shakespeare either. They say people have seen videos with me with a Sprint telephone. And they say oh, God, we blew up the video. It's Sprint. He works for Sprint. Or there's actually sites saying I have a Nyman microphone. That means I'm a Nazi because Hitler at speeches had Neumann microphones. It's proof I'm with Hitler. I mean, it's mental illness. There's all this real stuff happening, but they can't deal with any of that. They got to make it us, Alan. We're what's bad.
That's correct. And those people you have to simply dismiss. I actually had one woman say, people like you scare me. I said, well, why? You're too intelligent. She says, you remember everything. I don't remember anything, she said. Well, that's not my fault. That's not my fault she can't remember anything. But you've got to just simply dismiss these people, because if you use your intellect, they're paranoid about you. They're paranoid. These people live in TV land. That's where all this stuff comes from. They live in fiction most of the time, or in sports, or in dramas, or soaps, or cop shows. And really, they're suspicious of you because you're different. You want to know what's going on. They've decided not to.
Well, I mean, take Henry Rollins. He was reading a neocon book that was pro-war, if memory serves, but it said something about terror. I think it was Simon & Schuster. It was a best-selling book. He's on an airplane from Australia. They went ahead and took his book and arrested him, and they said, you're not allowed to read books.